In this video, we're going to take a look at basic math functions. We're also going to start with getting into switch statements. So we have a program called calculation. We're going to create a new class and we'll just call this calc. So let's go ahead, double click, and let's get into it. Let's go ahead and delete everything just like we've been doing, because we're going to be the one coding, not the computer doing most of it for us. So let's see here. What do we got? Oh, got to get rid of this. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask the user, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to add, subtract, multiply, and divide? And to do that, we need to get some input. And when we get input from the user, you should know by now that we need to import that Java utility, specifically the scanner. Don't forget your semicolon. Let's go into the main, our public class calc. We need to create a main method. So just like we've been doing, public static void main, and then string args. You're going to open those brackets, close them, and then the curly bracket. Now, when you're doing this program, we're going to update it in a later video, talking about how to do custom methods and calling them. We're going to do all of this inside the main method because this is focusing on using switch statements. That's what this video is focusing on. In another video shortly, just a little bit later this week, we're going to come back to this program and we're going to put it in their own methods. But this is focusing on switch statements. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to say, okay, we're using that scanner. And we're going to use my object, and we're going to do, that's going to be a new scanner, and that is going to be system in. And the reason it is system in is because we're getting input from the keyboard. We're going to need some variables. We're going to do num1, that's going to be the first number they enter. Num2 will be the second number they enter. Our answer is going to be the result of the mathematical operation, and the third one is going to be their response, because we're going to ask them to enter a number for what they want to do. So we need to do that. So system.out.print line. What mathematical operation do you want to do? And don't forget your semicolon. Now, what we need to do is we need to give them the list of options. You don't have to put a manual space here. I do just to keep my code easy to read. It's personal preference. I've had some students who never skip lines. Their entire program is just no white space whatsoever. It's really up to you. I like to keep mine looking what I think is nice. You can do it however you want. So I'll ask them, do you want to do addition? And if you're trying to remember the print line, this is a great exercise because we'll be typing it quite a bit. We ask them, okay, enter 2 if you want to do subtraction. You don't want to forget that close quotation marks. Then we want to ask them, trying to type and talk at the same time can be a little difficult at times. We want to do times, we can do multiplication. And then the last option we want to give them is going to be if they want to divide. Now, if you watched one of, we'll say division. If you watched one of the earlier videos, we talked about what do you do if you're doing division and you get a number that doesn't divide evenly. We talked about casting in a previous video. For this video, for our test methods, we're going to choose 2 numbers that divide evenly. All right, so what we need to do now, after we give them all the options, is we want to store it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to store it inside the responsive variable, which we created. And we're going to do next int because we're storing an integer. After we store it and we ask them what we want to do, we're going to have them enter 2 numbers. That's the purpose of having num1 and num2. You can have them enter as many numbers as you want, but this is focusing on switch statements, which is why we don't have 500 numbers. If you'd like to do that, you can. System.out.print line. Okay, tell them, enter the first number, and then we're going to store that into num1, and we're going to do it the same way. And this is how you store integers. Next, int. And then we'll have them input the second number, And if we don't store the numbers, nothing is going to happen. We have to store them so we can actually do something with them. All right. So now that we've done that, we are ready to start our switch statements because we're getting the input from the user, what math they want to do, what mathematical operation they want to do, and then we had them enter the first number and the second number. Don't forget your semicolons, and let's get started. So switch, that is how you start it. Now, when you do switch, you have to open your parentheses, and you're going to need to say inside the parentheses, okay, what variable or what do you want to work with that will allow switch to operate? So what we want to do is we want to base ours on our response variable because we asked them, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Based on what they enter will allow us to do the mathematical operation. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our curly bracket and we can get started with case 1. With case 1, answer is going to be equal to num1 plus num2. That is how you do math. Don't forget your semicolon. And then what we're going to do is we're going to output the answer to them. Now, we're not just going to output the answer because we need to test our program. So we're going to say the result of addition is, we're going to put our space, and we're going to tack on answer to the end of that. And we're going to move on to case 2. Now, if you've been doing some programming before, you may be saying, okay, well, you just forgot something important, case 1, and I'll get to that momentarily. There is an error on purpose here. Our program's going to run, but what we want to do is we want to take a look at an error and learn how to overcome that because it's not going to work exactly the way we want it to, and that's okay for right now. We'll definitely fix it. So answer is going to be num1 minus num2, and all we're going to do is output the result of subtraction is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tack on the answer. And then we're going to move on to case 3. For case 3, answer equals, and that was multiplication. So we're going to do answer equals num1 times num2. And I really shouldn't be saying equals. We talked about this in a previous video. Equals makes it sound like it's a formula. It's not really a formula. It means becomes. So when I say equals, that's what we're typing. How it actually reads is answer becomes num1 times num2. I'm saying equals because that is the syntax we are typing. But remember, it is not a formula. You may be saying, well, yes, it is. We're replacing the variable answer with the result of num1 times num2. So just be aware of that. If you're taking a programming class, you'll hear them say becomes. Well, they're talking about the equal sign. The result of multiplication is, and my dogs are barking, but that's okay. And then we have case 4. And we're going to do answer equals num1 divided by num2. And of course, answer becomes num1 divided by num2. And we're simply going to output that. The result of division is, and we're going to put a space, go up here and put a space. We don't want that to be right on top of it. We also want a colon here. Make it, somewhat professional, keeping things consistent. And then answer. Great. And now make sure we have our closed curly bracket, and we do. Now we can compile. We compile something. Oh, we just have an extra thing there. No syntax errors. So what we can do now is we can go ahead and we can run the program. To run that program, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to our main method to execute our code. We're going to hit OK. What mathematical operation do you want to do? So let's start with addition, and let's do 10 and 5. That should come out to 15, or we'll do 10 and 4. I typed 4 instead of 5. That's fine. The result of addition is 14, but it also gave me the result of subtraction, which is 6, the result of multiplication, which is 40, and the result of division is 2. We need to look at that plus sign because we don't want that plus sign in there. Okay, so here's how you fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here. Where's that? Here's that extra plus sign. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Here is how you fix that. When you're using switch, it's going to do case 1. Right after that, it's going to go to case 2, case 3, and case 4. If you do not want that to transpire, break. Just type in break with a semicolon, and what that will do is it will break out of the switch statements, and you'll be good to go. All right, so let's go ahead, let's compile this, let's run it, and let's see if it works this time. So we're going to go run our main method again. Okay, what mathematical operation do you want to do? Okay, so let's try addition. Let's do 10 and 5 and see if it only gives us the addition. The result of addition is 15. Perfect. Let's run it again. And let's try subtraction. Just subtraction. 10 and 5 should come out to 5, and it does. Perfect. Let's try the multiplication here. And you want to go through and you want to check it all. That should come out to 50. It does. Perfect. And the last one we need to check is, of course, the division. Now, remember, we said in a previous video, we talked about casting and what happens if you divide two numbers that don't come out evenly. For this one, we selected two numbers that will come out evenly, 10 and 5, and that 10 divided by 2 is obviously 2. Got rid of that plus sign. So that's going to be it for this video. We took a look at recording user input using integers, recording the integers, which we also did in a previous video, so somewhat of a review, but we mainly focused on switch statements. Now, just one more time, in a future video later this week, we're going to reopen this program and we're going to create individual methods, because each of these do something a little different, and we can clean up our code, make it more organized by creating individual methods. So that's going to be it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested in learning Java. Please leave a comment. I do read all of them. I do take what you guys say into consideration before we make our next video. If you have any questions, please let me know. We'll see you guys in the next one.